I want to be defined by the things that I love, not the things I hate, not the things I'm afraid of.
Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, then hi, I'm Ella Louise, and today we're going to be talking about loss of my life. Now, if you want to wear, also happy Halloween everyone, if you want to wear, last night I finished writing and editing Loss of My Life, completely done, completely formatted, everything about it is done. We're talking about Loss of My Life today. We're getting into all of the details, how the idea came, when I started writing it, the inspiration behind Robin and Zayn, how I've came up with their names. We're talking about everything today, right now, right here. Let's start with how Loss of My Life came to be. If you aren't aware, I think I've spoken about this a couple of times now on my social medias as a whole. If you aren't aware, I'm gonna tell you again. The idea for Loss of My Life actually came from a past relationship of mine. He's in the acknowledgements, guys, it's okay. And if you're seeing this, man, don't read the book, please. Just don't. I know he's probably not gonna see this, but we're still friends. Okay, so fun fact, at the time of me editing this, he actually blocked me. I need some serious mental help. Oh my god, okay. But yeah. The inspiration for Loss of My Life came from a past relationship of mine. Inspiration also kind of came from Taylor Swift, obviously. So obviously she announced the track list, and I claimed LOML thinking it was going to be a love song. Fast forward to when the song came out, me and this guy broke off what was happening between us, and then the album came out, and I was like, good job claiming this song, Ella, because now you can really relate to this one. So then it kind of came for the idea that he was supposed to be the love of your life, but obviously he broke your heart, so he's the loss of your life. Because as on the cover, put the cover here, Ella. On the cover, it says love of my life, but love is crossed out, making the title Loss of My Life. So that was kind of the story. It's you expected this person to be your one. You expected them to be the person that you spent the rest of your life with. You expected them to be your forever number one, but that didn't actually end up happening. So you got to cross their name out of your journals now and get rid of that shoebox of fucking love letters you still have to them, even though it's been almost 2 years. I really need to get rid of that. What inspired Zayn and Robin? Let's start with Zayn. So if you aren't aware, Zayn's name is Zane Thorn. His original name was Zayd Thorn, but when I posted that on TikTok, I got attacked because it was too similar to Zayn Meadows. How? I don't know, but I got attacked on TikTok, so I changed it to Zayn. And then you have Robin. I don't actually know how I come up with their names. I'm sitting there writing, and then the name comes to me, write the name, that becomes someone's name. That's genuinely how I come up with names. So Robin was kind of one of those things. Robin's name was originally going to be spelled R-O-B-Y-N. I told my friend the names of the characters, and she was like, didn't Taylor Swift just release a song called Robin? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, she did. Let's change her name to Robin, spelled like that. So her name was always going to be Robin, but then, and I can't even lie, Robin is my least played song from Tortured Poets Department. So Robin's last name, which is Blackwood, I don't know, I just felt like Robin had to have a last name that started with B. I feel like certain names have to have certain last names, so I felt like Robin's last name had to have something starting with B, and I literally wrote down every single last name I could think of that started with a B, and then I landed on Blackwood. So that's how Robin's last name came to be. We did have a bit of a dilemma when we got to Oliver, because Oliver had to have, because I'm so specific with names, Oliver had to have a last name that begins with W. So the only thing I could genuinely the only thing I could think of for Oliver was Oliver Westwood. And I was like, okay, but Robin Blackwood, Oliver Westwood, their last names are too similar. So we kind of ran into the problem where I wanted to change Robin's last name, but then I was like, no, because this has been her last name for months. So we just eventually ended up with Zane Thorn, Robin Blackwood, and Oliver Westwood. I love Oliver though. Oliver's my baby. Don't even. The first scene that I wrote in the book. The first scene I ever wrote didn't actually even make it into the final copy because I changed the complete direction of the book. Actually, I'll see if I can find it right now. There's a storm. The document is called OG Loss of My Life. Chapter 1 was... Ooh. Oh, this is back when his name was Zaid. Chapter 1, Robin's point of view. I stepped into the bookstore, the familiar scent of old paper and ink wrapping around me like it. She was always supposed to be a book girly. And they were friends, apparently. That's when I saw him, Zaid. He was standing in the section with the classics, absorbed in a book I recognized instantly. Zaid looked up, his blue eyes. Zane had blue eyes? I changed his storm grey eyes now, guys, because, like, don't even. Wait, this actually sounds like such a cute book. I could totally turn this into another book. He was supposed to be a lawyer? That's enough of that. That's enough of that. That's enough of that. That's enough of that. Oh, no, I forgot. I forgot that I wrote it like that. Anyways, that was the first scene I ever wrote. But, like, the first scene that I ever wrote that actually made itself into the final draft of Loss of My Life was... The first thing I actually wrote was the ending line. The very end of the book line. That was the first thing I wrote for Loss of My Life. This video comes out the day after release. So go read Loss of My Life. That's, like, literally how Loss of My Life started, though. That pretty much wraps everything up about how it started. Oh my god, I need to put the OG cover on the screen too. So this is the current cover. And now for the OG cover. Okay, anyways. Let's move on to the writing process. The writing process. How long did it take? It took me... I started writing it last year in August, but I only started telling people about it this year in May. But I did start writing it last year in August, if we're counting the OG version of it. So, I don't know my months. Hold on. So, a year and 4 months. That's how long it took. But then I did kind of put it down so I could finish writing Nobody No Crime, which I did do, blah, 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 blah. And then I picked it back up. So, I'd say it actually took me around a year and 2 months to write. But it was actually so fun to write. The entire time I had a blast writing it. I love Oliver. The easiest and the hardest parts to write. The easiest parts of the book were to write were the scenes that Oliver was in. Because... one, I really just enjoyed writing Oliver. I loved writing his chapter point of views. Yes!
Are you writing this? I don't want your old lever.
Right after I write chapter 22, chapter 23 gets to be in Oliver's point of view. I loved making the scene where he crashed out. I loved anything that Oliver was in. He always had like a stupid joke that I got to throw in there. I did have to go to my dad to get some dad jokes from him for Oliver's character, which we'll be seeing a lot more of in the future. But Oliver was one of the easiest parts of that book to write. I think he was genuinely my favorite thing about the entire book is Oliver. Oliver is in the acknowledgements of the book. The hardest part, however, of the book was definitely writing the scenes that I related to the most. Because if you aren't aware, there is a huge scene in that I really did relate to. Or like just writing those scenes that like you had to like break somebody's heart or ruin something. Those are the scenes that hurt the most to write. Like those are the hardest to write, because obviously I was like sitting here, I was like, I don't want to write this, I don't want to. So it took me like the longest to write. So like that's what made it so hard, is the fact that I couldn't see my screen because I was like crying the entire time. How my emotions changed as I wrote. I swear to motherfucking God, I felt every single emotion that ever fucking existed while I wrote this book. You can ask the people in my Discord server. 1 second I'm like, oh, I fucking hate Zane. Oh, I love Zane. Oh my God, my baby Zane. I fucking hate Zane. Like, I was so fucking, my emotions changed so quickly. At 1 second I was in love with what I was writing, the next second I wanted to scrap the entire book. 1 second I thought that I was a really good writer, and then the next second I wanted to just die. I felt almost every single emotion, I swear. Like I cried my eyes out. I was excited, I was happy, I was laughing my ass off. Like every single emotion you can think of. I fell in love with my own characters. To my connection to the story, why it's special to me is because, one, obviously it's based off something that I relate to, and two, because there is a huge scene in there that I relate to like crazy. I wrote that scene, I can't actually say what it is on YouTube, but I wrote that scene because I went through that. Not that exact thing, obviously I didn't get kidnapped, but I got to write the part where after she got comforted. So she got comforted after everything happened to her. That was the biggest thing for me. It felt like a healing moment for me. That's why I have such a special connection to Loss of My Life. And that's why when I keep telling people I'm so excited for Loss of My Life, then they're just like, it's just a book. That's why I want to punch them in the face, because I have such a special connection to this book, bro. What can you guys, the readers, expect emotionally? Without any spoilers, obviously. Lots of heartbreak. Lots and lots and lots of heartbreak. But you can also find yourself kicking your feet and giggling at some point and like laughing at Oliver. We're all going to collectively love Oliver. You don't get a choice. If you don't like Oliver, I'm gonna drink my coffee. You can expect a lot out of this book. That's pretty much what I'm saying here. What does it mean to me now that the book's done? I'm kind of shocked, because obviously it was so much of my life just poured into this book that I don't want to let go of it yet. I don't think I'm ready to hand it over to you guys yet, because I don't want to let go of it. But last night I sent out the ARC reader copies of it, and honestly, that was actually kind of hard to do. I kind of sat there for half an hour before I sent them out, because I was kind of just like, I'm not ready to let go of this book yet. I'm not ready to hand it over to you. This is my story. I wrote this. This belongs to me. But now that it is done, now that it is sent out to the ARC readers, I don't know. I just like, well, one, I feel like a huge weight has lifted off my chest, because there was a lot of stress around the ARC reading copies of it, because I couldn't get the editing done in time and there was a lot of stress in my life. So it feels like there's a huge relief lifted off my chest, but there's also like, that's my baby. That was the book that was originally supposed to be my first book. That is my baby. Nobody No Crime was never meant to exist. This is the book that was supposed to be published first. So, I don't even know what it means to me that it's done. I just know that it means. Now, Loss of My Life is part of the Ruined and Real duet, which means there's 2 books in the series. Big surprise. A lot of you actually do want to know a lot more about the duet. I've actually had a lot of people asking me what the second book's going to be called, when it's going to be released, when they're going to get the announcements for it. Just be patient. I have all of that planned out. Okay, I have a timeline to stick to here, guys. But the second book is going to be the better book. I think I'm going to enjoy writing the second book so much more than I'm going to enjoy this one. Like, I'm so excited for this book. But we'll get more into that in another video. We're not talking about it today. Another big thing is, I know with a lot of series, a lot of authors, when they write a series, they do like the 0.5s in the middle. So like you'll have like, for example, the Shatter Me series, you have the Shatter Me, and then you have all of the books, but then you've also got the 0.5s to go in the middle of each of the books. A lot of people are asking me if I'm going to do that with the duet, because obviously I posted and said your month of your Lost My Life characters, and there are a lot of characters in there, and 2 books isn't enough to give all of those characters justice. So the answer is yes. But that is going to be, I have the next 15 books I want to release planned out, so it's not going to be for like another 10 books when you get those ones. But there's going to be, you'll understand this when you read the book. Oh my god, there's a lot of stories that I really want to write for this book, but you're going to get Vivian's story, her love story. You're going to get Raven and Lena's. You're going to get Victor Dorian, because if you know, you know. If you know, you know. That's all I have to say about that. And if you read chapter 3, I'm so excited to write that one as well. Oh my god. But that is literally just me yapping about Lost in My Life. That's pretty much all you need to know about Lost in My Life right now. That's like the process behind everything, my thoughts on everything. And I'm thinking that every single time I finish writing a book like this, I'm going to make one of these videos where I explain how the idea came across. But that is all for today's video. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next one.
I want to be defined by the things that I love, not the things I hate, not the things I'm afraid of.